Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith with Smith in the Black with the Strat Time Report, and no sugarcoating this one, folks. They're bringing them down. And so one of the things that's important is when things occur, and this is a Monday, right? So 3 of the 4 major time frames start over again, right? So we knew that most months were red or about to go outside like the SPY. So you'll hear me talk about continuity opening. Continuity entries. So you can see how it popped up here, but then goes red here. That's when it goes full time frame continuity back to the downside. And what it gave us is what we've been looking for. Outside on the month, right? So once you go 2 on the upside and then start failing, we know outside bars exist. Did we get it? We sure did. So SPY is still in all sorts of trouble here. And if you look at that continuity entry right here on that daily, and then you take it down to the 15, you're going to see this, lower left. Here's the opening. And then if you go over to here, you're going to see the outside 3, 1, 2, 15er. Boom. And if that works, that changes all the continuity back down to the downside with your signal with magnitude to hit at least here. And almost everything trading down with the futures. So I always talk about the market's going to trade in the direction of the most 2s and continuity as well as failed 2s going 3, and almost everything is to the downside. We call that a simultaneous break. Until the futures can stabilize, a lot of things just getting caught up in the futures selling. If we go to the QQQ, and QQQ, once again, opens, pops up, and then bam. So Qs hasn't made it yet. It's remember the outside month we're shooting down for here, 359.96. So you got some room on these babies here, and you wait for them to pop up here, and then boom, down she goes. And you can see here on the 15er, here's your opening of the day continuity. There's your 2 up, boom, 2 up, 2 down reversal right at the point of continuity. Boom, down she goes. So there's that. There's the Dow Jones Diamonds, which we already knew was leading down on the 2-2 monther. They were leading the charge on the puker. You get your 3-1-2 on the 15er right here, and down she goes. Another thing that's important that I talk about is if this, then that. What will that create, negate, or do, right? And so here's how it started. SPY, 2 up, 2 down, reversal on the week. And if that works, that sets up the 3-month, which we got, right? You always want to be looking downfield and say if this works, what's that going to cause? So we have new 60s right now. We'll see if they start to stabilize, because once they do, then you'll be able to see the strength and weakness in the market where a lot of things are getting caught up in the futures, and once the futures can stabilize, we can see if they start going into anything and want to buy some things, because usually during downs like this, we see them coming to the utilities, right? But that's barely, I mean, they're green, but they're not totally charging into them, right, just yet. So we're still waiting for stabilization. Another thing that you'll hear me talk about is being able to know what the market's doing by running a scan, right? And so here, if we start at the monthlies, all right? Remember, each 60 is going to reconfirm and negate what the monthly and weekly and daily are doing, but let's go to the monthly first. Monthly, let's go to the monthly in the upside, because this will show you where the concentration is, right? What's actually happening to the internals. Come on, man. Okay, so who's taking out last month's highs? Sort by volume. Right now, okay, you've got Alcoa, COG, bunch of crap, right? Palantired, but for the most part, it's a who's who of nobodies, right? Netflix still up above, but you can see there's not a real high concentration of any group, right? Now, who's taking out last month's lows? Well, SPY for one, Diamonds, Apple, AMD, X, Citicorp, Coke, all right, so there's Boeing, Bristol Myers, Twitter, so you can see there's a Qualcomm, Visa, so you can see it's more diverse, right? And that's monthly. Now if we just go to the weekly, this should be a real bloodbath. Okay. Who's taking out last week's highs? Yeah. Zilla, Brooks, a who's who of nobodies. Now, who's taking out last week's lows? Everybody. Apple, AMC Bank, CLF, AMD, FCX, Telephone X, Citicorp, Nvidia. Look at this. Microsoft. See the difference? MU. Everybody. Wynn Resorts. So pretty much everything. And here you can see even Alcoa is countering that month by taking out last week's lows. CSX, we know the rails have been weak. And now let's go to the dailies. So what this is telling us is we prefer more downside. Right? Anything that starts coming up is going to be a counter. We don't want that. We want them to keep puking. Oops. Daily and daily. Okay. Who's taking out Friday's highs? Nobody. Look at this list. Now, who's taking out Friday's lows? Ford, Apple, Palantir, AMC Bank, CLF, AMD, Nvidia, everybody, Wells Fargo, right? Facebook. So that's why it's important to know that, because when people are trying to get there and say we've got support level, you're getting killed. You're getting killed, because if you don't realize that all these twos are to the downside on the daily and the weekly, you're going to get killed. So if we go down to now, we got a new 60. All right. So if we're going to stabilize, we're going to stop hitting the lows. Right. So now we open as an inside 60. 60 is a major signal. So if you're going to turn some of these stuff around, that would do it. So coming up in the next hour, we want to see if we can stabilize like that. QQQ here also trying to stabilize with the inside 60s. So you got to stop the bleeding, right? But for the most part, you can have a tough time turning these dailies around, right? Because a lot of things puked. So if we go to some of the things that are trying to do something, Brooks Automation, there you go. Momo Hammer weekly in their face, 2-2 reversal month, right? Now it comes in with the market, but you can see here on the 60, 2 up, 2 down. There's your corrective activity if they want to try and bring this thing back up. Take that out or go inside 60 and come back up, because then you'd have a corrective activity, another signal to match the monthly and the weekly, right? And you'd have magnitude to come up through here. If you go to AVIR, AVIR triangles all these guys out and then backs off, right? But did go 2-2 weak. Not many people can say that, right? Now they're coming in a little bit because it did its job. Pivot machine gun through these guys, stop all these guys out, give us our broadening formation here and here, but then backs off. So we'll see if that sets up again. What's going on here? Zilla outside day to the upside, and that's going 2-2 weak to the upside. Still an inside monther, but you can see the difference between the market and what Zilla's doing right now. If we go to AstraZeneca, AZN, and AZN had a nice morning. Here's your 2 down, 2 up week, and then 2 down, 2 up back through previous range, right? Here, and let's see, if we go to TDC, 2 down, 2 up week, right? Holding up in there. We'll see what it does. Had corrective activity on the 60. Market just kind of meandering here, kind of stunned, if you will. And so we'll see if that goes inside in the 60 for you. MRTX. And MRTX inside 60. Had a nice 3-2 weaker to the upside. Taking the hammer on the month. Right now it comes back in. You got mother bar issues, trying to get out of that opening range. But in the next hour, if you can take 183.30 out, that gets my attention. If we go to task, take them to task. And task comes back in, but 222 weaker, and backs off after a nice opening run. We'll see if that sets up again. And then little guy on the gapperless Zevo. This is what it's come to, folks. Inside on the 60. We'll see if that goes. Because on the downside, we got Apple. And you can remember that 2 up didn't quite take that on right on time. Then these two became an outside week of that. And if this works, inside day down on Friday, right? Going toward the lows, looking to get that outside month. We got it at Apple, right? That's good. We got a Facebook, looking for an outside monther here, right? Last week, what did it do? Inside week to the downside, calling off the top. Then you got the reconfirmation here, the inside day, down. Inside day, down. Come in, now, outside monther all the way down here, 347.70. And so it's pretty broad based on the selling in the big boys. Amazon coming down. So tried to break that month, now coming back for a potential 3 month, and that would be pretty far down. If we go to shop, and Shopee, 2 up on Friday, and then boom, back through all this stuff. Once again, outside month already to the downside, but still trying to continue. Shopee. We've been watching the semis, SMH, to see if they can hold up. No such luck. 2 up, 2 down reversal week, right? And if that works, potential 3 monther, and there's your inside 60 to the downside. LRCX coming down. 2 down, 2 up week. 2-2 reversal coming back through here. I don't know if this is inside or not on the 60, but not quite. But even though it wasn't, you had corrective activity because this was green. Down, sideways, measured move. And if we go to, let's take a look at AMD. AMD, gaps down. We've been looking to see if it was going to take out this month. 2-2 reversal month. It did that. Below 101.97. You're there. And puke and inside 60 down. All right, futures still heavy here, folks. They're still inside in the 60s, but starting to drop. And so one of the things you can look for, like in those 60s, Dow Jones Diamonds, when inside 60 down, right there. There's your continuation. 2 down, inside, boom, right? We already knew that they were the first ones in trouble. If we go to small cappers, not totally getting killed yet, but still looking to come down on this inside month, but we'll see. If we go to EA, and EA, we knew that was weak last week, and there's your outside month there for you. Puke City, still going. We've got some financials, Ameriprise. Also, you can see how broad-based this is. Now looking for RevStrat, inside month, 2 up, and goes RevStrat here below 254.61. All right, and you're there. Because we already knew that we were watching Capital One. RevStrat monther, we'll see if that continues inside 60. That tells us DFS. And like I said, this is pretty broad base. So at the weekly, you go 2 down, 2 up. Boom, these two become an outside bar of that. And if that works, 2 up, 2 down month, 120.11, it's over. If we go to JP Morgan, so you can see some of these banks, still got some room to take out that month though. If we go to Melly, just going after some of them big boys. Big, long way to go down on that 3 monther though, so we'll see. If we go to China, Baba, still puking. After last week's inside week to the downside, Baba's is still in all sorts of trouble, and that tells you look at Baidu's and all the fun stuff over there, having some fun, taking out last week's lows. If we go to, well, we've known the rails. There's Union Pac again, puke, inside 60. Norfolk Southern, yep, CSX, all those guys still in trouble. So right now, like I said, until the market stabilizes, you got a whole bunch of trouble going on here. So if you go to checkpoint here, checkpoint, this is in the weekend vid because this is slight higher high there, 2-2 reversal, boom, these two became an outside bar of that, you see? And you get your inside 60 for the measured move, down, sideways, puke, right? So Microsoft finally breaking here. So Microsoft was like a bastion of strength, as I pointed out over the weekend, but I'm like, you'd have to turn a bunch of this stuff down, and we certainly did right out the chute on a Monday. So simultaneous break, the scan's telling you what's happening, and if the 60s don't change that, we're going down, just so you know. So keep mind the 60, but as long as this thing stays red, you got all sorts of problems. All right, that's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith at Smith Black with the Strat Time Report.